Attention passionate Cleveland, BROWNS FANS. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Cleveland Browns' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Cleveland Browns fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Cleveland BROWNS FANS. Let's get to the news, all right, Browns fans, buckle up, because what we're about to discuss could be a game changer for the franchise. Now, I know many of you are already thinking about the upcoming season, about how this team has been building, about the mix of youth and experience, and of course, about the big questions that still linger. But one of the biggest issues that has been on our minds lately is the wide receiver position. It's no secret that Cleveland's passing game needs a significant upgrade if they want to compete at the highest level, especially in a division as tough as the AFC North. The Browns have been kind of in limbo when it comes to their receiver core. They've added Deontay Johnson, a solid veteran and someone who can bring leadership, but beyond that, the options are pretty limited. With Jerry Jeudy, who's a talented receiver, the Browns are hoping he can be a real difference maker, but behind him, the depth chart looks concerning. The reality is, Cleveland's wide receiver situation isn't just a minor concern anymore. It's a potential bottleneck for the entire offense. Imagine a scenario where your quarterback, whether it's Deshaun Watson or someone else stepping up, doesn't have reliable targets beyond Jeudy. That can put immense pressure on the quarterback and make the offense predictable and easier to defend. Historically, the Browns have struggled to develop consistent, top-tier receiver options after the big-name players. Remember how last offseason's decision to not extend Amari Cooper's contract in the long-term sparked debate? Well, the Browns decided to play it safe, and perhaps that was the right move financially. Now, with the current roster, they need to find a way to add more proven firepower, and that's where rumors and speculation start heating up. Let's talk about a scenario that's been gaining traction among NFL insiders and Browns fans alike, the possibility of Cleveland making a bold move through a blockbuster trade. And I'm talking specifically about Washington Commanders star Terry McLaurin. Now, McLaurin is a player who, for years, has been one of the most underrated wideouts in the league. He's been a consistent threat, a guy who can stretch the field, make contested catches, and be a reliable target for any quarterback. But here's the kicker, McLaurin is currently entering the final year of his contract, and negotiations with Washington have been dragging on since late March. That's a long time in NFL contract talks, and it's raising questions about whether the Commanders might be forced to consider trading him before the season starts. You see, the Commanders are in a tricky spot. They're not ready to say they're trading McLaurin just yet, but if they can't come to an agreement on a new deal, it might become a matter of when, not if, they decide to listen to trade offers. And that's where Cleveland should be paying close attention. The Browns, as we know, are always looking to upgrade and find that missing piece, especially at a position as critical as wide receiver. McLaurin, at 29 years old, still has plenty of prime football ahead of him, and his ability to produce in any offense is well documented. Plus, pairing him with Jerry Jeudy would instantly give Cleveland a dangerous duo that could pose serious problems for defenses across the league. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking, but wait, what about the long term? McLaurin is getting close to 30, and Cleveland has been cautious about giving long-term extensions to receivers like Amari Cooper. That's a fair point, and it's true that the Browns are cautious when it comes to big-money contracts. But the landscape is changing. With Shedeur Sanders emerging as a potential franchise quarterback, the Browns are looking at a future where they might want to maximize their offensive talent now, rather than waiting years for a developing player. Shedeur, coming out of Ohio State, has been nothing short of spectacular. He's posted 5 straight 1-0-yard seasons, and last year alone, he caught 82 passes for over 196 yards and 13 touchdowns. That kind of production suggests Cleveland might be in a position to build an offense that can succeed immediately, especially if they add a player like McLaurin. And imagine how dangerous that tandem would be, Jeudy and McLaurin, both capable of making big plays, both able to stretch the field and create mismatches. For a quarterback like Shedeur Sanders, having 2 reliable, explosive receivers could be the key to unlocking the offense's full potential. It would be a dream scenario for Browns fans who have watched their team struggle to find consistent offensive weapons over the past few seasons. But again, it's all about timing. The Commanders haven't officially put McLaurin on the trade block, but if the contract negotiations fall apart, Cleveland should absolutely be knocking on Washington's door, ready to make an offer that makes sense for both sides. Now, let's pause here for just a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Cleveland Browns news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let's continue with the big reveal, because what we're discussing isn't just about adding a good receiver, it's about changing the entire complexion of the Browns' offense and potentially their playoff future. Moving further into this conversation, Cleveland's front office has shown that they're not afraid to make bold moves when the opportunity is right. The decision to acquire players like Deshaun Watson, despite the controversies and the big contract, was a clear sign that they're willing to go all in if the right talent is available. And don't forget, Cleveland's history has been one of patience and strategic moves. They've often preferred to build through the draft and develop internally, but when the right veteran talent becomes available, they're not shy about jumping in. And when you look at the current NFL landscape, wide receiver talent is at a premium. Players like Tyreek Hill, Davante Adams, and Stephon Diggs have set the bar incredibly high, and if Cleveland's goal is to finally break through and make a serious playoff run, they need to surround their quarterback with weapons that can elevate the entire offense. McLaurin's skill set fits perfectly into that mold. He's not just a speed guy, he's a nuanced route runner capable of winning contested catches and possesses an excellent ability to gain yards after the catch. His versatility would give Cleveland a tactical advantage, especially in the red zone and third down situations. Now, I want to touch on the broader implications here. If Cleveland manages to pull off a trade for McLaurin, it could send shockwaves through the division. The AFC North is already one of the most competitive divisions in football, with Baltimore, Cincinnati, and Pittsburgh all loaded with talent. Adding a player like McLaurin would immediately boost Cleveland's offensive firepower, making them not just contenders but potential favorites in the AFC. It would also send a message to the rest of the league that Cleveland is serious about competing at the highest level, not just in 2024 but for years to come. Of course, there are challenges. The Browns would need to navigate contract negotiations, especially given McLaurin's age and the market value for top-tier receivers. Cleveland has been cautious about long-term commitments, as we saw with Amari Cooper, and they might prefer a shorter deal or a salary restructure to keep their flexibility. Washington, on the other hand, might demand a high draft pick or a package of players in return, considering McLaurin's proven production and leadership qualities. But with the right offer, Cleveland could get a true difference maker without surrendering too much in terms of future assets. Looking ahead, this potential trade scenario also highlights the importance of the 2024 NFL Draft and free agency for Cleveland. While they missed out on addressing the wide receiver position in the draft itself, they've been active in free agency trying to patch the holes. But sometimes, a single trade can reshape a team's trajectory more than any draft pick or signing. It's about identifying the right talent at the right moment and executing the move with precision. And ultimately, for Browns fans, it's about hope and excitement. The team has been on an upward trajectory, with key players like Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward, and Nick Chubb leading the way. The addition of a player like McLaurin could be the final piece in the puzzle to make Cleveland a true contender once again. It's about turning potential into results, about finally breaking that playoff drought that's been haunting the franchise for so long. The passion within the Browns community is undeniable, and every move they make in the offseason is watched closely, because we all know in Cleveland, football isn't just a game, it's a way of life. So as we stand here today, contemplating the possibilities, remember that the NFL is unpredictable and the trade market can change in an instant. The Browns have shown they're not afraid to make bold decisions, and with the right offer, this McLaurin scenario could become reality sooner than we think. It's a story that's still unfolding, and I can't wait to see how it develops. Whether it's a blockbuster trade or a different move, one thing is certain: Cleveland is not done yet. They're still fighting, still building, and still dreaming of that elusive Super Bowl. And as Browns fans, that's all we can ask for: hope, passion, and the belief that brighter days are ahead. And now, Cleveland Browns fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Cleveland Browns. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Cleveland Browns news.